thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Why I Love Flagler County, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about Flagler County. So today I'm super excited to have my guest, Nick Martin, with us today. Nick, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, Nick and I know each other through our local BNI chapter, and we got to know each other just a little bit before the call as well. So I'm really excited to kind of rehash a little bit what we were already talking about, but kind of go a little bit more depth into the Flagler part because Nick's been a part of Flagler for about 10 years, give or take, with the area. And it's basically a veteran at that point, in my opinion, is if you're here before COVID, you've seen it all. So I'd love for you to kind of kick us off and tell me a little bit about your journey coming here to Flagler and how's that been?
Well, we kind of found Flagler County by accident. I moved to Florida with the help of my now wife, Megan, April of 2014, and I was coming to Florida to start grad school as a physical therapist in St. Augustine. We looked at some places in St. Augustine and decided that our price range was not going to get something that we really felt comfortable living in, and started looking in Palm Coast, and fell in love with it. So we've been here for almost 10 years, 10 years in April.
Wow, that's
And
oh. And where did you guys move from?
um, a place called Wetumpka, Alabama. So the capital of Alabama is Montgomery. Wetumpka is about 5 miles north of there.
Oh, okay. 5 miles?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
okay. Like
like
right
a
outside.
bedroom. Yeah, like it's like a bedroom community. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So it wasn't like it wasn't like a huge dramatic like weather difference or anything like that. It was like kind of neighborish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got seasons, and we have all four seasons in
Oh,
Alabama, but
oh, okay.
North Florida doesn't get quite as cold, but
Yeah. Well,
not,
I come from Michigan, so like that's what I mean is like we have a winter. Mostly winter we have. We don't really have as much. It's like 2 months. It's like, okay, we have sunshine for a few days and then we're back. But that's funny. I find a lot of people tend to have stories like that when it comes to Palm Coast. It's like, oh, I accidentally found Palm Coast, or I just kind of looking at the map and I found it, or I took an exit that I didn't know was there. I just needed an exit break. And then they find Palm Coast and they end up liking it. So that's super cool. Um, Being that you've been here for about 10 years or so, I'm sure you've just seen a change, just completely 180 overnight kind of thing.
well, yeah, well, I mean, it's always been growing since we've been
Okay.
here. Yes, definitely since COVID, I would say, just in leaps and bounds at this point. I've
True.
I've personally never seen this much development like what's going on now. I mean, when my wife and I moved into the house that we live in now, it was 2018, I believe, and we had one, two, three of the adjacent lots. I guess you would say there's four. Two of them were vacant, and there was a ton more on our street. And now there is not a single. There's one unoccupied lot.
Oh, wow.
So
That's crazy. You got to kind of know your neighbors like one by one by one by one by
yeah,
one. Well, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love for you to talk. So you work with health markets, and it's kind of an interesting story on how you fell into it. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your journey going into what you do, and then obviously give people a little bit of education because I think when it comes to, insurance and health insurance, people very easily get very confused, you know. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Right. So the way that I got into health markets was during COVID. I was practicing as a physical therapist and running an outpatient clinic, and that died down for a short period of time during the initial um, limitations that were placed on patient care and other things when COVID started, and that allowed me some time at home to spend with my growing family. And I realized that I needed to be at home more, and I was working a whole lot for somebody else doing physical therapy. So I started looking for alternatives. A friend of mine who's very close to me still, and we actually work for the same company. He lives in the house that's one of those unoccupied lots is now his house. We live in each other's backyard, basically. So very close friends. And he started doing this about a year and a few months before I did. And over time, I watched him get successful, make more money, work less, and I wanted that. So I decided to give it a shot. Um, the reason that I went with Health Market specifically, we kind of already discussed that when we were speaking before, is that they allow so much selection when it comes to the products that I can offer. A lot of companies out there, a lot of agencies too, allow you to represent one or two, or maybe even a handful of companies for health insurance or Medicare or life or what have you, any of the products that I can sell. Whereas Health Markets offers a lot of companies, which allows me to find the best fit for clients. That's what I like the most about this company. And it also gives a lot of support. They provide compliant marketing material, business cards, all the odds and ends. They even have a program to help set up storefronts, which I haven't utilized yet, but I have a storefront now because my business has grown to a point where
Oh,
I felt like I needed to get out of my home office, and get out in the community. And it's been really cool. I've had, the most in-person appointments I've had in one day is 4, but I think just having opened the office in October, I think that's pretty good.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's been cool. We got other agents working out of the office sometimes now, that also work for Health Markets in the area. So it's been cool to watch not only my business grow, but also watch other people that have come into the company since I started here start to grow their business as well.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that about the storefront. So huge hats off. That's awesome. I love that for you. And we were also talking before that, you're really passionate that you believe everyone should have health insurance. And I think that makes so much sense. It's so easy when you're like young or healthy or you're such a good role that you're like, yeah, nothing bad will happen to me ever. Like I'm good, nothing bad. I'll never die. I'll never, break my arm, break my ankle, nothing like that. Like I'm totally fine. And then it happens and you're just like, I didn't prepare. I don't really know how I'm supposed to budget this in with, my time now that I'm not able to work or something like that. Is there any quick education that you could give people really quick on like maybe how they can start reaching out and learn a little bit more about the options that they have, that maybe they just never had an idea about?
Sure. Well, like I said, there's a lot of products that I can offer with Health Markets. So, really, I mean, the best thing that I can do for anyone is to analyze the situation that they're in. If you're young and healthy and can only afford a little bit for health insurance, there's probably a plan for that. If you're young and healthy and make a good amount of money and, marketplace coverage is no longer affordable, there's really cool private plans that are still affordable but also provide much lower thresholds for financial loss. So you can kind of set up a plan as you want it to look,
Hmm.
with varying deductibles and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't really. The best thing that I can do, like I said, is individually analyze a situation and see what would best suit a specific person's needs.
Perfect. And what's the best way someone can reach out, someone can learn about it? Maybe if you have a website or the best way to contact you.
I do have a website. It's Health Markets website. It's healthmarkets.com/Nick Martin.
Okay.
Um, the best way to reach me, I'm on my phone all day. My cell phone is 334-300-3999. Text, call anytime. Email is also good. I know there's a lot of people who would prefer to do that because they don't want to have their phone tied up.
Sure.
That's fine too. My email is nick.martin at Health Markets. No K in the Nick. I really,
Okay. Okay. And I see.
right. Um, yeah, and I also have a Facebook page. That's probably when people have reached out through friends of friends and things like that, where they didn't have my phone. My phone number is actually on my Facebook page, but when people have reached out, a lot of times it's been through Facebook Messenger or directly through my Facebook website. Yeah,
Okay, perfect. So I'll make sure I have all the information in the description so people can click on that, copy and paste. So they do type NIC only. It's Nick NIC for the email, for the website, and for the Facebook. So I'll make sure I have all that so people can click on that a little bit easier. So Nick, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it. It's really great what you do and how you help people. And you want to be able to help people on that individual basis, like you mentioned, just see what makes the most sense for their situation. And you just never know. I don't really know a lot of whole things that I could tell people about health insurance. So it's great to have someone like you that tell me what I can do and what I can't do. So I really appreciate the time today. It was a great time.
absolutely. Thank
Of
you.
course. And to everyone listening, I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time.